What is going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. We got another statue, and it's a great one. This is the Queen Studios Mark 7 half scale. So yeah, got this from my local buddy. He actually gifted this to me, so I didn't buy this. He gifted it to me, so super thanks to him for helping him sell all his statues. This was my reward. So thank you, good friend, for this amazingly cool statue. This is something I've always wanted. I actually pre-ordered this originally through Spec Fiction, canceled it because I got out of the half-scale game, but we got it back. Not 100% sure if I'll keep it or sell it. I really want to see how much I like it, you know, because I've always wanted a giant Ironman, and I wanted the life size, but you know, this may just have to settle. If I can find a way to somehow display and keep it, I'd love to do that because I've always loved this Ironman. So I'm not actually bringing this in the big box into my house or anything. I'm just going to take it piece by piece into the house and set it up. This box, you know, it's a crate, but it's definitely, it's longer than Hulkbuster, but about half the size. You know, so I don't think, you know, if I had to ship this, it wouldn't be too bad. You know, but it is a 147-pound box, so it's clearly a beast. For right now, I'm going to display this where we're going to be putting Thor bust. So eventually we'll have to move Thor bust, or move it, you know, if I can find a more permanent spot should we keep this. But yeah, really excited to get the Mark 7 half scale by Queen. Always wanted to see this in person. Let's see what all the fuss is about. Alrighty, so this is what we experienced on the bottom layer. A lot of parts. Pretty big base. Not as big as I anticipated, which is a good thing. You know, I did even think, you know, I could probably display this where I have my Predator and move Predator back to mid-room. Or do this mid-room. Or somehow fit this, you know. It's too tall to go next to Hulkbuster. Like if I move the Mark 7 1/4, this is 45 inches tall. I only have 42 inches height space, so that just won't work. Anyways, let's get all this in the man cave and set it up. Alrighty, so here it is. Here's the base size. Fits here perfectly fine. We're going to do the back stuff first, then rotate it and put all the face forward stuff. So on the back, it's just, you know, a few parts, no instructions. I also noticed there wasn't a COA in the box. I'm going to have to ask my buddy if he forgot to put it in. But yeah, there is something right here as well. There and there. As you can see, very tall piece. Immediately was able to get it in the base very easily. Alrighty, yeah, so this goes right here. You know, like his leg things are opening up the flaps. And then right here, very similar to the bust I used to have in my 1/4, these have flared out. And then we got two more pegs up here, which is going to hoist the rockets, missiles. And that is how that goes. So, yeah, all those flaps, very cool. Now we can turn it around and finish it up. Alright, YouTubers, so we did get the Ironman Mark 7 all set up. I had to go to my buddy's house. He forgot to include the frickin' arc reactors, the little, there's 4 of these that go in the base, one right there, 2 in the back, and the COA. So here is the COA. I got number 591 of 888. And I did install light up, the batteries for the light up. Now, the light up on this is quite possibly, in my opinion, the worst way to do a light up ever. So, in order, I'm honestly baffled how stupid Queen Studios is for doing this. Like, are you effing kidding me? Why would you not do an AC adapter for this? So, you have to remove this plate and swipe this tiny little button so incredibly small I have to use tweezers. And then for this one, you got to remove the rocket, then tweezers. The helmet, you have to use tweezers to remove the plating because it's at a stupid angle. I can't use my hands to do it. And then tweezers to get the button. And then this one as well, you got to use tweezers. Like, Jupiter's cock, how stupid are you, Queen Studios? Oh my, it makes the light up pretty much worthless because honestly, the light up is really cool. It adds a lot to this piece. It's just a damn shame they had to be so stupid in the way they did it. Us collectors, I mean, here's the thing. I don't mind if you're going to do batteries if You give me a remote. Like Thanos. Thanos' battery, fine with that. Press his button, boom, done. I don't have to remove the gauntlet and use tweezers to turn it on. Why would they not give us a remote option for him is beyond baffling. So, yeah, I'm seriously just so baffled how bad it is. You know, it's like the same thing with the bus. They made those, like that one, you have to press a button to turn it on. That one's battery operated and it dies after 5 seconds. So beyond stupid. They did a good job on these two, just AC adapter. But yeah, the half scale, they really failed this city. Like, they need an arrow shot through the chest of the person who decided to, hey, let's do batteries where you have to use tweezers to turn it on. So, yeah. So, in general, here's one thing I'll immediately say. I think this is a disappointment compared to the prototype for 2 reasons. One, this logo looks like it's, unpainted. Like outside of the Mark 7 Marvel Studios, the Avengers itself, on the prototype, it was black and then white for the Avengers logo. Here, it's just completely the exact same color as the base, and I think it looks terrible. It looked great on the proto, because this part was black, and then the Avengers was white, and it looked fantastic. Where here, they decided to make it the same color as the base, so it kind of just blends in, and it looks god-awful. Like, again, shoot an arrow through the chest of whoever decided to change it, because it's not like a huge, like seriously, was it that difficult to, do that black and white? I may even just get that professionally repainted if I decide to keep this, because that really does grind my gears when I see that, how bad that logo is. So that's a 0 out of 10 logo for me. Secondly, they did not do a metallic paint out. Now, it could have just been the photos, but the prototype to me looked a lot more metallic. I prefer my Ironmans metallic. When I say that, I refer to every other Ironman I pretty much own. That one. Look how shiny it is. It looks like red car paint, 'cause that's what it is. This Iron Studios one, they advertise this as red car paint, so it's shiny. Looks like a brand new Ferrari. Same thing with this Ironman. Look at that juicy red paint. Love it. They did the same thing with the Iron Studios. They made it juicy red. And for some reason, Queen is kind of against juicy red outside of the Mark 50 and 85 bus. Now, their Iron Spidey should have been a juicy red, because it was more metallic looking. Now, this one, here's the thing. I think the red is perfect. I love this color of red. It is miles better than the Mark 7 bust. Mark 7 bust, I did not like that red. And then this one, as you can see, is much more of like a maroon red. And this is like a very similar pose as well. Like compare this red to this red. It's quite a substantial difference. And I like this one way more in terms of the red. Now, this one also has a very stupid light up. It's like... like there's the 1/4. Now, I still like that 1/4, granted, underscaled. Light up sucks, but I do like it, and it's a very similar pose where it's like one arm back, one arm forward. Now, I do like the pose on this, and they do give you a few swap outs I didn't realize. So if you don't want to display the rocket, you don't have to. You can just have the flap down. Additionally, if you don't want this display, which is also rockets, you can just have the standard gray thing, which I think is great. I didn't realize it actually had swap outs. So I'm currently displaying the double rocket look. However, kind of the problem with that back rocket, I kind of feel like I might, not do the rocket, is like, how could he even shoot that rocket? It's going to hit his hand. This one is a little bit better, like it'll fly slightly above his hand, where that one, that is 100% going to hit his hand. So it kind of doesn't make sense for that one to have a rocket, in all honesty. So I think I might switch that back to the normal look for that backhand. And it's nice that they give you the leg option, because I think, that's kind of his patented look. It's like rare you actually see it like this. Granted, that's just so much more detailed and cool looking. So I do like that feature. So Alexa, turn off Marvel statue lights. Let's, in general, just look at the base. So I previously owned the Sideshow Mark 7 half scale. This base is definitely miles better. The only thing that really sucks is this logo. So you have this gray, I almost like Ironman type themed, plating, which I do like it. I think it looks good. It's a great underbase. And then you have this rock base, and this just looks like concrete, like kind of broken up from, the Avengers battle. And then there's some of those like friggin' pipes coming out. In general, I do like this base. I just want to fix that logo because that drives me crazy. But overall, this base is substantially better than the Sideshow base. That base was small, tiny, pathetic, hated it. Wasn't good at all. And they did all their bases the exact same. And Queen has kind of done very similar bases for their Ironman half scales, but there are some differences. Now, this one has really good, dirt effect here on the legs. I think it looks really well done. And it gets, almost like a splatter as you come up to the knee. And it stops around right here is where it stops on both legs. And it's on the front and back. So, definitely looks like, he's been stepping in mud. And, and the base has as you can see, mud effect here in the cracks. And in general, just mud splatter throughout the whole base. So I think they did a great job on the leg dirt splatter. And I've seen Sideshow do really bad job on their dirt splatter. Like their Mark III 1/4 had a terrible dirt splatter. Just looked like his boot just stepped in a bunch of mud and then stepped out perfectly. So, yeah. In general, the legs look good. Paint app is clean and looks good. I like these leg flaps that open up. I need to take a duster to this thing. It still has some dust on it from my buddy. The black lines look pretty darn good. I don't see any huge QC issues in general from that. Like I said, the red is a perfect color. I just would have liked it a little bit shinier. Just a tad. But in general, I think this is a perfect red for Ironman. And I really like it. I think the gold looks great. I wouldn't say it's 100% movie accurate gold, but I do like the gold. I do think it could be better. See, on the Sideshow one, you could remove this part, although mine fell off. There was also parts in the back that came off, and I had a lot of issues with that Sideshow one. This pose is substantially better than the Sideshow. And you can see a lot more detail, like the mechanical parts right here on the back. Granted, I have mine pretty high, and I think this is too high for half scales. I feel like half scales should be about 2 feet off the ground, not 3 feet. So this is about a foot too tall in my opinion. So I don't know if I'm going to keep it here for now or even just throw it in my mid-room on my coffee table. Granted, I really want to use that for reviewing, so I'll probably just keep it here. Eventually, Thor bus is going to go there, so it will have to be moved. And at that point, we'll either sell it or I'll keep it and try to somehow fit it in that room. I've kind of come to the conclusion it can either go where the Jungle Hunter's at or just mid-room. And if I did mid-room, I might just honestly throw Hulkbuster next to him on that shelf. I could fit them both. That way I could move, all my DC 1/3 over here and, sell that 1/4. But in essence, I would do the half scale next to Hulkbuster plus those props on a coffee table or a tiny garage shelf. I do think his waist is a tad thin. This general area, I feel like it should be a little bit thicker. If Ironman was in there, those metal parts are centimeters from his body. And I feel like, this is the armor that he wore. It wasn't nano. That was almost on his flesh. So this, I feel like he's a little bit bulkier. And I do think they made him a little too skinny. More so on that hip area. I also question, is the head perfectly scaled? Because when I look at the bust and then I look at this, it makes me feel like the head might be a tad small. When I look at the 1/4 compared to this, I don't think it is. I think it looks just like the 1/4 in terms of head size. But when I compare it to the bust, it makes me think the head might be a tad small. Now, they did do detailed arc reactors on everything. Let me see if I can... Yeah, you can't see that. Let's focus on this one. Yeah, you can see it right there. So, detailed arc reactors. I think the arc reactor still could be better, honestly. But they did do a detailed arc reactor, which I do like, because if you remember on my half scale one by Sideshow, I put like a little plastic 3D printed thing on it just to give it some detail, because I hated the fact that it, didn't have a detailed arc reactor. Because I feel like Ironman should have a detailed arc reactor in a statue form. And all of mine now do. Every single 1/4, even my Iron Studios 1/6 has a detailed arc reactor. So I kind of feel like for me, that's kind of a deal breaker for me. It's one of the biggest reasons I never bought the Sideshow Mark 7, no detailed arc reactor. That's the biggest reason I sold the Iron Studios Avengers Age of Ultron Ironman. Did not have a detailed arc reactor. They didn't implement those until that one. So, yeah. So this guy is like 45 inches tall. As you can see, he's as tall as my Thanos bust. So he has crazy huge presence. That's taller than any of my other half scales I've ever owned. And I think the biggest reason is because of the base. His base is, several inches taller than my old, Batman, my Trinity, the Aquaman. The Aquaman was an underscaled half scale. And I liked it, but then I kind of grew to hate it. It's weird. Like when I first got it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. But then as I kept seeing it being underscaled, and I felt like the likeness was a little off and the base felt so, not big enough, I grew to hate that. So that's why I sold that, I actually like the 1/4 better. Once I got the 1/4, I was like, yeah, the 4th is better than the half. Now, granted, the half had the silicone portrait, but... So yeah, this thing does have really good presence, and in general, it has a really good paint app. I just wish it was a tad more metallic, but it's that to me is not a deal breaker. I think in general, this does have one of the better paint apps of all their, Ironman Mark 7s. This is the best one. I do like the pose. I think it's really well done. I know some, when a lot of people are getting this in hands, I always thought it had a lean. But here in person, it does not look like it has a lean at all. Maybe it was just the photo angles or something, but mine definitely does not have a lean. I think the biggest thing for me is I'd like to get that logo painted black and then white. Definitely like black and white. I think that is a must. Or, you could even do red and black. Look at my Avengers DVD behind. What color did they do it? White. Yeah, you got to do it white. White and black. So you need to paint the Avengers white, and then behind it black, and that's it. If you keep everything else gray on the outer rim, I think that's fine. But you definitely got to paint that Avengers logo. I think that... Now I'm going to look into seeing how much it would cost to do that, because I'm not going to paint it myself. I need someone professionally to paint that for me. That's like a 20-minute job. Should cost like $15, I swear. But I do want to look into getting that repainted, because I feel like that would make this better. And it'd help contrast the color a little bit better instead of just being blended in. In general, I do like it quite a bit. Issues aside, once I fix the logo, I'll like it more. But the general sculpt, like I said, it's a tad thin. Sometimes I feel like the head's a tad small. Otherwise, I think the sculpt is fabulous. I would just thicken it up, the entire statue. Just thicken it up like 5%. And I think that would help. I would fix the battery so it's AC adapter or it's battery, but then I'm able to use a remote. The problem is they also used LR44 batteries, and those die out extremely quickly. Like that's what I use for my Transformer statues, and those die very quickly. If I leave those in here next week, if I tried to turn the light up on, it probably would be dead already. So I feel like I have to remove those and then install them anytime I want to use the light up feature. It's a shame, because I'd love to just connect this to my Marvel statue lights, as you saw, and then just have it turned on every time. But unfortunately, I can't enjoy the light up on this feature because of Queen's poor decision making. They should have did a remote or AC adapter. Like if you're going to do battery, you got to do a remote from now on. If Queen doesn't do that, I feel like I probably won't buy that statue anymore due to that. Especially Iron Man. Iron Man needs his light up. It brings the statue like alive. When the light up is off, it feels like it's just a suit without a person in it. But when you turn the light up on it, it becomes alive. So In general, I do like this half scale quite a bit, though. It has a lot of presence, a great pose, especially for a half scale, because most half scales have a boring pose. They're always just like standing there doing nothing. And this one, for me, has the best pose of all the Ironmans. You know, like the Mark 50, Mark 85. I like this pose better. I think the 50 has really good base, though. The 85, I don't know, that one's like weird. I'm not the biggest fan of the 85. I do like the 50. The 85 is kind of like a Dragon Ball Z pose, and I feel like his chest is too thick. Where the 50, I think, does look good and it has a good base. It's, you know, more of just like a standing there, though. Where this one, I like the pose. It's my favorite suit. So for me, this is still the best Ironman half scale out there. Miles better than the Sideshow. And the best Queen one for me personally. So overall, I do really like it. I'd probably give this a 8.5 out of 10 overall statue due to the issues I've mentioned. So 8.5 out of 10 for a half scale, you know, in comparison to like the old ones I used to have, the Trinity, Aquaman, Sideshow, Ironman. Let me think how this stacks up in general. I would put this as good as like Superman and Batman. Like, I like this more than Aquaman. Definitely better than the old Sideshow Iron Man. I felt like Superman and Batman were near perfect. Like, they had like really good likeness, you know, really good detail. You know, the poses matched the posters. They were great. Wonder Woman likeness was definitely off, but I still liked it quite a bit because I felt like she had the best detail with, you know, but the biggest thing lacking on those was the lack of glass eyes. That was honestly the biggest reason I sold them, no glass eyes. To me, that is a deal breaker on a half scale. You got to have glass eyes. Iron Man obviously doesn't need glass eyes. So due to the nature of what he is, he's definitely one of the better half scales. Another one I really liked was the Sideshow endoskeleton. I still think that's a fantastic one. It is a tad short, though, at 38 inches, where this is 45. But I did like the base. I did like the pose. I would love to see Queen tackle a half scale endo. I think they could do a really good job on that. You know, because I do like half scale endos. I think they're super sick. But yeah, overall, awesome statue. And thanks to my buddy for, gifting this to me. It always feels good to get a free statue. Granted, it wasn't technically free. I had to put a lot of effort into helping him sell his statues and whatnot. So it's not truly free if you want to do it. Time and effort. But anyways, folks, let me know what you think of this half-scale Ironman. Do you think this is one I need to keep or sell? Based off everything I've told you, I'm definitely going to look into repainting that logo at a minimum because I feel like that should be really easy. It wouldn't cost a lot to ship. Shouldn't be expensive to repaint it. Granted, I shouldn't have to do this. Queen should have just painted it like the prototype and what they advertised to you when you went to buy the statue. Funny thing is, I actually did PO this originally through Spec Fiction, and I canceled it, when I was getting out of half scales. But I do like it quite a bit. As you can see, it's very tall. It has a lot of presence. But this is my bust wall, so it's only here temporarily. Man, that Captain bust is so good. Anyways, folks, that is it. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.